Alright, bros. Let's let's see what we can do here. Let me see. I'm trying. Let's see. Let's see what our current station is here. Yeah, that's what I figured. It started us over again, so I'm not for sure what. Still, tier 7s. Tier 7s. Well, we'll do this. Let's give it a whirl and see how it goes, you know.
A California high school volleyball player's season ended after she suffered a head injury competing against a transgender athlete. The girl's father expressed frustration and powerlessness over the incident, and is now part of a group seeking change at a local level. From a distance, it seemed like a boy dressed in a girl's volleyball uniform, Luis said. Trending, bombshell email uncovered between Joe Biden and Hunter. I told my wife that this was not fair. I felt frustrated that, in an indirect way, I was now supporting someone's gender confusion. To boot, they were now playing against my daughter and her teammates. Another parent turned to me and said, "Did you see that? She was hit by that boy," he recalled. I had missed the actual hit, but felt the weight of everyone staring at me, including the opposing team, Luis added. She was playing for fun, and this was her final year doing it. She felt robbed. I felt deflated and powerless, Luis said. At what point does someone's gender dysphoria cross the empathy boundary? In my case, my daughter was injured. A representative of the Independent Council on Women's Sports blamed California Governor Gavin Newsom for allowing boys to compete in girls' sports, leading to injuries and unfairness. The governor dismisses situations like this girl's career-ending injury as unimportant to him, the Independent Council on Women's Sports said of Gavin Newsom. Newsom believes the well-being of so few boys is paramount when measured next to safety and fairness for girls. These boys are Gavin's golden boys. They are allowed to do whatever they want and girls are acceptable collateral damage. It's time to stand up, speak up, and sue. Putting girls at known increased risk and stealing their opportunities is unethical. Similar incidents of injury to female competitors from trans players have been reported in other states. Most popular. Trump has big plans for military within the U.S. Trans athletes banned from another women's sport. Hollywood legend questions 2020 election results. The post "Another young athlete has been injured by a trans player" appeared first on State of the Union.
Watch this one. He thinks he's smart. Dumbass. Well, be pretty damn sport. I ain't touched his ass yet.
Spotter returning to ship. Autopilot mode disabled. Warship sighted. The ship is on fire. Problem solved, sir. The ship is on fire.
Enemy severely damaged.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert. Roger.
Later, bitch.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on normal alert.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
Motherfucker.
Torpedoes, dead ahead. Torpedoes, direct front.
Son of a bitch. Well, it is what it is. That's messed up.
For the presiding judge, this vote was literally too close to call, so he called for another election. According to KTAL-TV in Shreveport, Louisiana, the case relates to an election for sheriff in Shreveport's Caddo Parish, where Democratic candidate Henry Whitehorn seemingly overcame his Republican opponent, John Nicholson, to win the race by a single vote. Whitehorn's victory came after a recount that added 3 additional votes to the tallies of both candidates. However, Nicholson moved to immediately challenge the results in a lawsuit demanding a special election on account of reports of fraudulent voting and a flawed electoral process. Louisiana recount! Did you know that the Caddo Parish Sheriff election was decided by 1 vote? Henry Whitehorn, D., received 21,621 votes to John Nicholson's, R., 21,620. While more than 43,000 votes were cast, only around 7,700 mail-in ballots will be rescanned. LA's #The Persistence, at Scott Presler, November 26, 2023. After 4 judges on the Louisiana Supreme Court recused themselves due to their relationship with Nicholson, the case was handed to retired Justice E. Joseph Bleish, who ruled in Nicholson's favor. On Tuesday, Bleish declared the election results as void and ordered another runoff election. This runoff election involved a 1-vote margin, Bleish wrote in his ruling. It was proven beyond any doubt that there were at least 11 illegal votes cast and counted, he continued. It is legally impossible to know what the true vote should have been. The response led to anger from Whitehorn's camp, who suggested that Nicholson had failed to provide compelling evidence that the result was fraudulent. The judiciary should not decide elections, Whitehorn complained in a brief submitted to the First Judicial District Court. Louisiana courts have made it clear that the results of an election are to be disturbed only under extraordinary circumstances where a plaintiff introduces compelling evidence that is sufficient to change the result in the election. The ruling was latched upon by the popular Republican activist Scott Presler, who referenced it as an example of voter fraud affecting the outcome of a locally run election. Breaking! Remember when I posted about the recount in the Louisiana Caddo Parish Sheriff election, which was won by 1 vote? A judge just ruled the election results are void. Justice Bleish said at least 11 illegal votes were cast and counted. https://t.co/axfAXWVW4. #The Persistence, at Scott Presler, December 5, 2023. The case will likely resonate with conservatives, many of whom still feel aggrieved at the outcome of the 2020 presidential race and last year's gubernatorial election in Arizona over concerns that voter fraud may have determined the final results. According to a recent survey by Rasmussen Reports, 56% of likely voters believe that cheating in the 2024 election cycle is likely, including 31% who said it is very likely. A former U.S. Capitol Police (USCP) officer claims to have information that implicates the department's former assistant chief in the January 6, 2021, riot at the U.S. Capitol. So far, 1,201 people hailing from all 50 states have been charged in relation to the Capitol riots, and 719 have pleaded guilty. Of those charged, 119 have been convicted of all charges, 3 have been acquitted, and 64 of 728 sentenced have served some sort of prison time. 8 cases have been dismissed. Tarek Johnson, an ex-Capitol Police lieutenant who was part of the department on January 6, has come out with multiple claims in the past week. On Monday, he said that the day's events were part of a larger setup that was masked by a large crowd size and hidden facts. Last week, he used the term cover-up, adding that he is conferring with an attorney about his plans to release all of his supposed information. His newest remarks on Wednesday promised to back his account. "I will be able to explain to you why my view of that day started to shift from being an insurrection to a setup concocted by former Assistant Chief Yogananda Pittman," Johnson wrote on X, formerly Twitter. "I believe Pittman did this to gain the favor of Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi and to become the chief of the USCP after moving Stephen A. Sund out of the way." A USCP spokesperson declined to comment to Newsweek. Pittman, currently the police chief of the University of California, Berkeley, served as acting chief of the USCP from January 8, 2021, to July 23, 2021. Sund served as USCP chief from 2019 to 2021, resigning after the riot. J. Thomas Manger, who has served more than 40 years in the profession, was sworn in as the new chief on July 23, 2021. Sund, who according to phone logs made 6 calls for backup at about 1 p.m. on January 6, later told Tucker Carlson in a leaked interview, "This didn't have to happen. Everything appears to be a cover-up." Sund, former U.S. House Security Chief Paul Irving and former U.S. Senate Sergeant-at-Arms Michael Stenger testified shortly thereafter as part of the first congressional oversight hearing into how the riot developed and how officials were not prepared. Johnson also said in his newest X post that he has a 12-hour radio run of the day. Washington, House Republicans threaten to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress if he fails to appear next week for closed-door questioning, escalating an already tense standoff over lawmakers' demand for testimony from President Biden's son. In a letter Wednesday to the younger Biden's lawyer, 2 House Republicans insisted that he appear for a closed-door deposition on December 13, the date set by a subpoena issued to him last month. Hunter Biden has offered to testify publicly but resisted sitting for private questioning, with his lawyer Abbe Lowell raising concerns that House Republicans would selectively leak portions of any testimony. Earlier on Wednesday, Lowell sent a letter to House Republicans reiterating that the younger Biden was willing to testify publicly but not privately. "The House Oversight Committee," he wrote, "has demonstrated time and again it uses closed-door sessions to manipulate, even distort, the facts and misinform the American public. A hearing would ensure transparency and truth in these proceedings." Within hours, the top Republicans leading the impeachment inquiry into President Biden responded with a single-page letter threatening Hunter Biden with contempt. Lawmakers said in the letter that only they, not Hunter Biden, could dictate the terms of his testimony. "Contrary to the assertions in your letter, There is no choice for Mr. Biden to make. The subpoenas compel him to appear for a deposition on December 13, wrote Representative James Comer, R., Kentucky, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, and Representative Jim Jordan, R., Ohio, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, in a joint response. If Mr. Biden does not appear for his deposition on December 13, 2023, the committees will initiate contempt of Congress proceedings. The exchange came as Speaker Mike Johnson, R. Law, has signaled that he would hold a House vote soon to formalize impeachment proceedings against President Biden. The possibility of a contempt vote raised the stakes of Hunter Biden's dealings with House Republicans and could lead to the president's son being referred to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution. When Democrats controlled the House in the last Congress, lawmakers voted to refer 4 allies and former advisors of President Donald Trump to the Justice Department for contempt charges after they defied the House committee investigating the January 6, 2021, attack on the Capitol and efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The Justice Department ultimately brought charges
Bannon went to
against
jail
2 of the
during
4,
that.
Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, winning convictions against both in jury trials. Bannon and Navarro are appealing their guilty verdicts. The department declined to charge Mark Meadows, Trump's final White House chief of staff, or his deputy Dan Scavino. For Hunter Biden, congressional testimony comes with legal peril. Any statements could be used against him as he faces a federal prosecution on felony gun charges and a continuing investigation led by a special counsel, David Weiss. Republicans have long asserted that President Biden corruptly benefited from his family's foreign business dealings, and they have seized in recent months on transactions involving his family members. But Republicans to date have failed to uncover evidence implicating the president in any wrongdoing. Still, the inquiry has brought renewed attention to the business dealings of the president's relatives and their leveraging of the Biden family name. Lawyers for Hunter Biden and the president's brother, James Biden, have described money transfers within the family as reimbursements for loans and other payments that are common among relatives. When asked by a reporter Wednesday why he had interacted with business associates of his son and brother, as Republican lawmakers have asserted he did, President Biden answered, "I did not. And it's just a bunch of lies. They're lies. I did not. They're lies." Write to see Ryan Barber at ryan.barber@wsj.com.
All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target. Destination reached. Autopilot mode disabled. The ship is on fire!
Don't fire at your allies.
Many thanks. Problem solved, sir. Warship sighted.
Our team has taken the lead.
The ship is on fire. Enemy cruiser sighted. Problem solved, sir.
has taken the lead.
All stations.